So, like, let's just bust it up. Yeah, bust it up real good. But it'll be a mega bummer if we launch the missiles by mistake. Yeah, let's just mess around with it a bit. What do you guys think? Should we mess around with it a bit? Oh, sorry, they couldn't hear you say yes. Can you say it again, please?
Darn it. Yes.
Yes.
All right, excellent. Wonderful. All right, so we're just going to log in here real quick. I don't want to actually tell you. All right, we're in. We are in. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to the Virtual Desktop Experience. It's been a couple weeks. We've missed you, and
yeah.
I miss my friends. I did get to hang out with Tech a lot, which was great. But I do miss Kevin and Mark, and it's wonderful to see you. So we're just going to mess around a little bit and do our best not to launch the missiles by mistake. That is the name of the game here.
Yeah, number one. So
we have infiltrated the Galbadia Republic Army's missile base, just north of the prison complex, and we've learned about the sorceress's plan to launch missiles at Balam Gardens, which of course all of our friends are there. Sid's there. The guy who gives you your first cards is there. The kid who runs laps is there. the Trep fan club.
You say Trep?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you say?
I always said Trepe.
Trepe? The Trepe.
Yeah.
The Trepe squad girls.
Galbadia, isn't it? Galbadia.
I said Galbadia, but it's who knows. It's okay. I also said Balam Garden, and I've heard a lot of people say Balam.
Balam just makes the most sense to me, like lamb. Balam.
I'm from the Midwest, so I say Galbadia.
I literally
Kevin chimes in with a bowl of rice, just stuffing his fucking face.
I'm having a nice hot cocoa.
Ooh.
Which I'm excited about.
You picked that up from when you were at my house, Tech.
I did. I just bought some from the stores.
The habit. I picked up the habit.
I picked up the habit from James, I guess.
Similar to how I like to pick up the Hobbit. So.
I should have French pressed it. And French pressed hot chocolate.
Bunch of marshmallows all squished down on the bottom.
Like ruining the fucking bread. Wow.
And then just don't wash it right away. Just let it sit on the counter for a couple days.
Yeah, it's like one of those cast iron
pan.
yeah, that's what it's there for. So for those who don't know, Tech was over at my house. It was really fun. It always is with that guy. I love Tech. He's my best friend.
Where'd you sleep, Tech?
I slept on an air mattress.
Nice.
Is that what you asked?
Upstairs room?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. He was in the in-between room. In the shipping room.
In the stew?
In the shipping room.
Yeah, the Ghost Diamond World Headquarters, as I like to call it, but it's a small room.
Ghost Diamond. It's a studio. If there's the studio, there's the shipping room, and then there's a bathroom, and those are the three rooms in the GD stew.
It's true. So Tech did actually sleep with all the tapes, because in that room he is surrounded by 2 boxes of t-shirts. Please, if you are a subscriber to our tape club, I encourage you to go on there, buy at least 5 t-shirts. Let's get them out of here. It'd be awesome. And
I had sex with every one of them.
Yes, yes.
That's exactly what he
did. You use one as a blankie?
I don't even.
Maybe a hanky, because he's crying so much. Man, so I'm watching several things. me and my girlfriend would like to put on a show while we're eating. It's kind of what we do, and we don't want to really commit to any like big long things. We've just been watching casual, watching a few episodes of the UK Office, which has been great. It's been a few years for that. It's just like still
classic,
incredible.
One of my favorite shows of all time. Yeah,
it's one of the best. We've also been watching Dragon Ball Z, which I've talked about on air a couple times. There's a great scene where Vegeta his tears are streaking down his face as he begs Goku, like, don't let Frieza go. You have to beat Frieza and you have to kill him. You don't understand. I know that in your heart you want to show mercy, but you can't show mercy with Frieza. He killed your father, my father, our entire race, and our home planet. You have to kill Frieza. And he's crying as he says this. And Yamcha and Tien are watching from King Kai's place, with their hands on King Kai's shoulder in the afterlife. And Yamcha's like, what? Vegeta cried? That's whack. This is the world that we were raised in. A lot of people like to romanticize the 90s and the 00s, but man.
Well, Vegeta was woke. He was like, what? You never seen a guy in a pink shirt before?
It's true, yeah. He didn't care. He was very comfortable with his masculinity. Also a murderer of children, but, but who isn't these days, So anyway...
this is too hot to drink.
So Tech...
How do you guys alleviate this?
You gotta... time heals all wounds, my friends.
Mm-hmm. Not these... Well, yeah, I guess...
It's like one of my favorite Willie Nelson albums, The Healing Hands of Time. So props to Riley Miller, who noticed it was episode 66. That is true. So in addition to messing around a little bit and doing our best not to launch the missiles, we're also going to be celebrating the Palpatine family. Famous family from the Star Wars universe. You're probably familiar with at least two members of that family.
God damn it.
It's really cool. But yeah, Darth Sidious himself, he will be paying us a visit from time to time. So watch what you say. If you say the wrong thing, you might have an Order 66 executed on your damn self. So watch out for that.
Sheev, a.k.a. Frank.
Frank?
Yeah, because that scene he comes in, he says, I must be Frank.
It's like a Leslie Nielsen joke. Incredible. So anyway, Tech was over at my house for reasons I'll talk about shortly. But he rolls in. It's in the evening. It's a little later, a little later in the evening. He rolls in. And he's like, do you have any decaf? And I'm like, come on, you think I got decaf, man? He's like, I like drinking coffee at night. I'm like, me too. I just stay up. But Tech didn't because he had to adjust his sleep schedule in order to make this whole trip work. And that's when we get the idea. We have hot cocoa,
Praying over your own grave.
Praying over your own grave.
Have you been on that cocoa tip ever since, or no?
Well, so I haven't, but that's what I'm saying is you picked up the habit from that chance.
It's definitely... Thank you.
That's all right. That is what I was looking for, and I was gonna keep going and going and going until I squeeze it out of you.
There it is,
like a dried sponge with one drop of gratitude left inside of it.
I did buy some marshmallows though to go with it instead of using the Swiss Miss marshmallows, because those are like little pellets.
Yeah, they're not real.
No, but this is the real deal.
Yeah, gelatin?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oops.
Should they just burn the bones? Should they burn the bones?
No, that's bone char, isn't it?
It's for sugar.
Yeah,
No,
it's for sugar and
they
powders.
That's how they make the
Marshmallows are
fertilizer that they grow the food that is certified organic that you eat that you think is vegan. It was all grown with bones. So you're full of fucking bones. We all are.
The bones... My marshmallows are made of bones.
It's
That's
true.
why they're white.
And hooves.
Why they look
Hooves and bones. My two.
Pretty sure it's
Bones are their
cartilage.
money.
Agar is a great alternative, though. I don't even know what that is. It might come from the sea. Not sure.
And so
Agar,
are
yeah, that's what they
worms.
use in a lot of traditional tea sweets.
It's definitely some sort of ocean slime.
Ooh, love it. Yeah.
I finally
Yeah,
warmed up enough to take my jacket off from my bike ride 2 hours ago.
Yeah, so I was rewatching some of that. I think you should leave, and that skit came on with the Johnny Cash with the like the guitarist. keeps
Bones
trying
are their
to-
money, and so are the worms.
Just like desperately trying to explain this concept, like through song, that bones are the currency of this like skeleton army. Oh man, it's really funny.
Unrelated, but speaking of warming up, I had a weird thing happen last night. So like right now it is 24 degrees outside where I live, Fahrenheit.
Same.
So-
Very nope. Which is
Definitely
very
not
cold.
Celsius.
Mark, 24 degrees Fahrenheit is very cold.
Gonna Google it.
That's like negative. I'm guessing -3, -4,
Negative 5,000.
-4. Is it -4?
Okay, let me
See.
actually Google it.
-3.8. You're pretty damn close.
Wait,
Pretty
24?
fucking solid. Pretty fucking solid.
Negative
Um,
4.444
anyway.
repeating.
Well,
So-
the point is, that is really cold. And it's, it's like been like this. And I keep my apartment, I keep the heat at, I think, 8. Am I frozen?
Yeah, but we can hear you.
Wow. you
And
look
don't
so
worry,
cold.
I captured
You're
a screen
frozen.
cap of this because you look so nice in it.
so
So if you're ever, if anyone
Use
ever,
that for the thumbnails now.
if anyone gives me shit, I'm just gonna block them with nice tech.
Anyway, it was cold. But I keep my apartment. I think I keep my apartment. I keep my apartment at like 81 or 82 degrees or something like that, which is really hot. I know, but I have my reasons. But it like the other day, I actually got hot in my apartment, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I went to check my thermostat. And I mean, it was still set to 81, but it was at max. It was at 90 degrees, so probably even hotter than that in here. And I was like, why the fuck is it 90? And it just inexplicably was 60 degrees outside.
That is
Like,
one of my least favorite sensations when I used to work in an office, and
Yeah,
it
it
would
was like
get
2 days ago.
cold once, then they blast the heat, and then it gets warm again.
Yeah.
And then all of that heat hits the windows that are lukewarm, and it all just stays, man.
stays. Yeah, I was like, this sucks.
It's like global
So I
warming, but like building warming.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It didn't make any sense. I turned off the heat completely, recalibrated. Woke up the next day and it was freezing in here because it was like 70 something.
I have a hard time adjusting like sleep temperature because I like to sleep slightly chilled. I can't sleep if it's like warm, and I've got like a sheet and a big comforter, and I usually like to just sleep in my underwear and then just cuddle up with a big comforter. But lately it's just like
I
my
hate
room
being,
is
I hate
fucking
being
freezing.
hot.
So
I hate being hot underneath a blanket. So what I usually
Me too.
do is I blast the heat, and then I turn off the heat right before I go to bed, and I feel the warmth on my face slowly turn to chill as my body heat rises under the blanket, and then it becomes a perfect cocoon. And it only sucks if I wake up in the middle of the night. Then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's cold in here.
I solved this issue by sleeping under like a throw blanket. I don't use a comforter. Basically just a little thicker than a sheet, but that's all I want.
But you're on
Because it's
some
already
whole
obviously
weird. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
already hot in here.
you like being hot.
exactly.
Yeah. But I don't want to be, I don't want to fucking bundle up under sheets and a comforter when it's 80 something degrees in my apartment. You know what I mean? So I just throw.
Sometimes you gotta bro the throw, So this is this episode is also really exciting. Not only is it our return, it's the return of the dash hand. Round of applause for the dash hand.
Like this. Like mimic the hand. Yeah. There you
Well,
go.
I do appreciate that. And now, according to this layout here, the long hand is here, but I don't see it though. So it's somewhere off screen. I can't exactly see it. We'll see if that makes an appearance or not. But for now, we're just gonna go through these systems one at a time as we slowly do our best to prevent these missiles from hitting Balam,
Balan Wonderworld.
Balabi.
There's no way that this is a multi-touch screen, though. Just putting that out there. In that era, it's got to be, D-pad and keyboard.
They had touchscreens, Yeah, it
In
doesn't.
Wait, in Final Fantasy VIII's world?
Hopefully a gigantic trackball mouse.
Well, go back to the establishing shot. Let's see if there's a little trackpad on there or something.
Okay.
Also,
You don't have to do that.
Real quick and importantly, James is currently playing Final Fantasy VIII, but you're on the second disc.
I'm on the say, spoiler alert.
So no spoilers.
Yeah, so please no spoilers. That was actually mostly for Mark, because I had a feeling that Mark might just inadvertently spoil it for James.
Well, he already did a lot of spoiling with his visuals during the
don't worry
Neo
about
Gaia
any of that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I've
None of that makes any sense.
compartmentalized that so hard, dude.
You're right.
I could explain the entire plot to you right now as best as I could, and most of it's nonsense. It wouldn't even make any sense to you. Yeah, and then when you play it, you'd enjoy it, but I don't know here we go. See, there's keyboards. There's keyboards there.
Well, yeah, and you control the interface with the D-pad and the X button. So that doesn't have a multi-touch interface, I don't think.
They just give you a DualShock 2.
I think
in game.
Yeah.
I think the one in the garden computer, I think that one has a giant trackball though, doesn't it?
Well, they steer the whole ship with like a freaking giant stick.
Well, Tech, you are the world's foremost expert on Final Fantasy.
Is that a spoiler?
What do you? No, I'm that far. I'm
okay.
I just got to the fisherman place and I had to stop because
best music.
I played cards with a guy and he beat me.
Oh, you can't
I was
have that.
not used to experiencing, and he's just like, okay, I'm taking your Leviathan and something super fucking sick. Yeah, Diablos and Leviathan. I did totally steal Leviathan from Norg though, which was awesome. And I was like, oh, man, this is why I always draw, man.
Hell yeah.
I see 4 question marks, my heart beats 4 times.
One of the most insane side quests in that game, the only one I've never completed, is the Queen of Hearts side quest. And you've met the Queen of Hearts before because you meet her in.
I've read all about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so for the chat then, the way this works is like in Final Fantasy VIII, you can play this game of cards that's like made up and only in Final Fantasy VIII, against just about any NPC in the game. But there's this one character called the Queen of Hearts. Looks way too much like Aerith from Final Fantasy VII, but you can play against her, and the way her like quest works is you have to like give her like rare cards.
You have to intentionally lose.
Yeah, you have to intentionally lose rare cards, like specific rare cards that you can only get one of in the game, to her, in order for her to play a different rare card that you can only get from her. But what's funny is they still made it so that you can possess every card in the game. But the fucking 5 cards that you have to give her, like in order to like get these other 5 cards, that she never plays them. Like she doesn't actually end up keeping them. And the only way to get them back is by winning them.
Re-winning it.
from 5 specific people in the world who are never mentioned to you.
Yeah, it's so and there's also a thing
I gotta
where
go
like,
get my guidebook real
yeah,
quick.
it's like you have for the first step to like truly do it in the most logical way, you have to like you need to save and then sometimes use the draw point to reshuffle the like RNG so that after you beat her, she moves to like a specific town for the next challenge, and like she tells you where she goes. But yeah, I was just like, you know, I'm on like disc 2, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I missed like, you know, because I play everyone, but I wonder if I like missed any cards. So I just like looked it up real quick, and it's like, what? Are you fucking serious? You've never done that quest though?
No, I did it. I did the first 2 of it, and then I accidentally spread. I didn't like know what I was doing. I didn't know, like, I wasn't like using a guide to do it or whatever. And I spread the random rule, which is if you accidentally spread the random rule in the area, you can just reset your game. Because for the chat, if you have random, you don't get to choose your own cards. It's just you just get random cards drawn for you, and it sucks ass because you can't play anything powerful. So yeah, it was impossible for me to fucking do it. And so I just was like, whatever. I did everything else.
If anyone in the chat has played Final Fantasy XIV, but not Final Fantasy VIII, your beloved triple triad from Final Fantasy XIV is actually the card game from Final Fantasy VIII. That's the game we're talking about. You got 4 numbers, you line them up, they got elements, you got same, you combo, whatever that shit does. No one really knows, but sometimes it happens and it's dope.
Man, I knew those fucking rules, and it was awesome to be able to like use it. Fucking 4D chess over there. But you know what sucks ass is the Final Fantasy IX card game. And I know
Tetramaster.
Not played it. Fucking sucks.
Yeah, it was.
Not fun.
I remember being excited that it had a card game and then playing it and was just like, this is nothing like Triple Triad.
Yep, exactly. No good.
Did you see what it says on the front of my guide? It says, the ultimate... Oh,
look at them! They're in the clouds together!
They're in the clouds.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Cypher's just kind of like peeking.
If frown is shown, then...
The ultimate guide for the ultimate game.
Oh, shit.
That's right. That's right.
David Cassidy said it best. Final Fantasy VIII is the ultimate game.
Quiz asks, how many Final Fantasies have card games? The answer is 4, and there are only 2 games. 4 Final Fantasy games.
Is there one in 11? Is there one in 11?
Tetramaster
11 and 14, right?
was bundled with Play Online, so it's not in 11, but it's a part of the 11 experience, but it's no longer supported.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
PlayOnline.com.
I've been watching, I finished watching a playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, which I have texted you guys a little bit about. But it kind of made me... So, if nobody's familiar, Dirge of Cerberus is just a spin-off game from Final Fantasy VII where you play as Vincent, the character Vincent, and it's a shooter because he uses a gun. It's very bad. Like, I watched the whole game. It's not a good game. You gotta play it, Kevin. Waste your time, dude. It's it took him about 11 hours, I think, to beat.
Oh, that's
so it's not like, yeah. But it did remind me, or it did make me think. And Final Fantasy XI, I'm not going to group with this because it's too different. But like turn of the century Square. Like 10, 12. I mean, Dirge of Cerberus was maybe a little bit later. PS2 Square is not really... Like, I love 10. I really do. It's one of my favorite Final Fantasies, but like... It's like they were struggling to figure out how to make the games feel huge. And like I said, 11... I'm separating because it's a little different as an MMO, but like 10's world, like it's like a matter of scope. Like 7's world and 8's world and 9's world like all feel like everything
Gigantic.
feels really gigantic. But 10 does not feel that way. Dirge of Cerberus does not feel that way. 12, despite its best efforts, never feels that way. And it's like they couldn't quite. It's almost like a transitional period between like pre-rendered backgrounds and polygons into fucking the shit that happens in like PS3. And it's really weird. Everything's kind of like stilted. All the dialogue, like 10 especially, like is very like sterile and like I don't know. It's just very odd. And I just watching the Dirge of Cerberus playthrough like kind of made me like think about that whole era and how I like ended up losing interest in Final Fantasy games during that era. And maybe
it's
that's
a really
why.
interesting era because I mean I completely agree with you. Square, in my opinion, has always been like a technology forward based developer. Like they're in the interest of pushing the most high tech visuals that they can with most of their games. And especially during that era, like they were like, we have to be the first people to make a wrestling game on the PS2. Like we have to have the first realistic racing game on the PS2. Like the first two PS2 releases from Square are Driving Emotion S and I forgot what the wrestling one is called, but like
So
it's
weird.
like obviously like you can't compete with Gran Turismo, Square. Like they've already lost that. But they still found it in their budget to develop like a really kind of janky simulation racing game to like try to compete with it. And then that whatever wrestling game they came out with was like the first wrestling game for PS2. And then
they developed it. Yeah.
Of course, the merger happened pretty shortly after that.
So I can say from my experience playing Final Fantasy XI, if that were a part of that initial statement, or maybe that's where all the resources were going, or I don't know. But the original Final
11 is feels like a PC game first and foremost to me, rather than a PS2 game.
But it was a PS2 game, hardcore.
I know.
Like it
For
was,
sure.
and it's like playing that game on the PS2, which I actually the first time I played that game was on the 60 gigabyte PS3 that had hardware backwards compatibility with the PS2, which at the time I'm like, this is the ultimate gaming machine. It can play 3 generations of Final Fantasy games. Oh my god. But there's like something terrifying about how big that world feels on the PlayStation 2, because it's so difficult to get anywhere without dying. And that just make like those barriers and those boundaries, like you see a cave and you can just walk in there, and God knows where that cave ends, but you're definitely not getting out alive. That
I think that really is it, because for one, I only played Final Fantasy XI on PS2, and
that's right. Yeah.
But I gotta agree with Kevin that even playing it then, it felt more like a PC game, because you literally have to use a keyboard, and I'm sorry, I just don't equate keyboards to PlayStation 2s. But
you don't have to if you set up proper macros. But go ahead.
Well,
but to talk to people,
still,
yes,
it's a workaround. Yeah, like
you can't. You gotta talk
anyway.
to people.
Yeah, the point is, and like it's online. Just anyway, the point is that the reason, I think you're right in that the reason it felt so big was because everything was so restricted. Like you just simply, like you were allowed to go there, but you just wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
So you were always wondering what else was out there. But in
15 did a pretty good job of like recreating that feel,
15?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 feels awesome. Its world is huge, and it's way bigger than what you're actually able to play, which is also heartbreaking. But but that said, like it is a really big, it's a fucking sandbox for half the game. But yeah, there's definitely a problem with like, I can't even remember on 12, but I think 10 and 12, I'm pretty sure neither one of them, like, there's no, like, there's no world map. Like,
no, 10 is a series of linear hallways. It's the same criticism that gets lobbied against 13, but 10 at least had like Blitzball minigame. They had like a couple like town like areas. They have like the mini games in the dungeons, like the stupid little puzzles or whatever. There's like enough stuff to break up the monotony.
I thought it was just I thought there were only 2 of them, 10 and 10-2. Didn't you just say they were many games?
And 12. Many games. Mini games. Jesus. That one fell flat, dude. I'm sorry.
Hey, joke landed. Call me Top Gun.
Anyway, yeah, it was just something I noticed about just the way that everything kind of looks. Because Dirge of Cerberus is a really very, like, pretty game in terms of, like, the characters and FMVs.
Well, why don't we use this moment to take a closer look at Dirge of Cerberus? We're going to put it under the Neo Gaia Fantasy Virtual Desktop Experience microscope, and we're going to get to the bottom of what makes games tick, because that's what we do here on this gaming podcast. But in order to do that, I think that we're going to have to mess around a little bit to access some of the more incredible features of this
of the hyper technology missile system.
Oh yes, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Mark, that little
HTMS.
the final Jeopardy meme that you sent to the group chat. I had never actually investigated that Vincent mobile game, that Dirge of Cerberus extra episode or whatever. And oh my god, that looks rough. It's hilarious. It looks hilariously rough.
So I'm just gonna mess around.
It's bad.
Bleep.
Oh well, be careful. It's a hyper technology missile system.
Oh, okay. Well, here let's just go to. All right, if it's just a simulation.
Okay. Yeah, that should be fine.
That should be fine, right? It's just a simulation. But where? Well, what is it a simulation of? Oh wait, no, that's Balam. What are they? Oh shit.
Well, let's take a closer look.
Well, let's see. Yeah, that's it. All right, but yeah, okay.
Well, the accuracy rate is a little low. But...
It is. We'll maybe we'll be able to adjust that a little bit later. Yeah, we're gonna look into that error ratio at some point. That might be a way out of this. Okay, folks, because we really do not want to. The very last thing that we want to do is launch these missiles by mistake, folks. That would be just a
disaster.
The fucking shittiest thing that I can possibly imagine us doing would be launching these by mistake. But it does appear. Let's see if I. Let's see. I think there must be some kind of web browser here somewhere. All right, there it is. We pull this up here.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Sorry, this was just an essay I was reading earlier.
I was writing.
Hit that check writing quality button.
Yeah, it's real. It goes real in depth. Merry and Pippin, or Zell and Dink.
Wow.
What a wonderful end of a sentence that is.
Amazing.
Weird spacing.
Take a look here.
Seemingly regular guys who are thrust into extraordinary situations. Yeah. Persevere for the forces of good in the world.
That's never happened in any other stories.
Both the Lord of the Rings and the Final Fantasy series are works that have managed to grow beyond the narrow bounds of their genre.
James, can you do me a favor and tell me if there are 2 spaces between beyond and the?
There are 2 spaces all over this place. 2 spaces after the semicolon, 2 spaces beyond who observe, 2 spaces between it and is. So this was either written by a lawyer, a millennial in their early 40s, or just a general dumbass. And I think it's probably the latter of the 3.
The fourth option is somebody that has to turn in a 5-page essay but has 3 pages of materials.
Look at this works cited. Final Fantasy VIII, the Final Fantasy VIII webpage. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and Return of the King. That's it. Those are his
The best
scholarly
citations
sources.
I've ever seen.
Yeah. Anyway, let's pull up Dirge of Cerberus here.
I think,
God.
James, right after you called some people a dumbass, or you assumed that it was the latter of those three, you should know that latter would only be used when there's two options, and that if there are, you would say last. This on the heels of implying that they were the dumbasses. Really sorry.
Tech, that seems like a literally kind of thing, you know? It's like, come on, people have been saying that.
I think more of a laterally.
Gosh.
It really is for just two things, though.
All right, well, thank you. I'll bear that in mind.
It's really important.
If I'm listing things in the future. So why don't we take a look at Dirge of Cerberus, some PS2 gameplay with the sound muted. And hopefully we'll get some ads here. Oh, no ads. Good.
You know, they just renewed the copyright for Dirge of Cerberus last year.
Well, they're just protecting their IP.
Well, there's a thing about Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core, and it's, I mean, I guess you probably know about this, Kevin. Probably, I don't know. I just always assume you know way more than me about any video game thing. But from what I understand, the reason that Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus have not had reissues and that kind of thing has to do with the presence of Gact, the wasn't he like a singer? Or
yeah,
something?
he was like a visual Kai Japanese.
Interesting.
He was also in the. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Well, Gact, his face is in this is in Dirge of Cerberus, and like he is Genesis or something in Crisis Core.
Weird. I did not know that.
Something like that. I might be way off about that. So or like his like characters based on. I don't know. What's the deal with Gact and Genesis? I would really like to know how they are related. But
Oh wow, yeah, it looks like him.
Yeah,
You're talking about the very ending scene. Does that? I remember I was trying to ask you about that.
That's what,
Yeah.
that's
Interesting.
where I'm going. But
Here's
Oh my
Gact's
God.
entry on the Final Fantasy wiki.
What's that dude's last name again?
He's got
Rhapsodius or something?
oh yeah, Genesis. Fucking I don't even know. Probably something really on the nose like that.
So he
But,
has songs in
yeah,
Dirge of Cerberus,
Rhapsodios.
Dirge of Cerberus, including Redemption and Longing, which are two
Huh.
Yeah.
things that I'm into.
And then yeah, appearance is okay. Yeah, Genesis is based on Gact, like his face. And because of that, apparently there was like some level of falling out between Square and Gact, and now it just costs them too much money. That's like not worth it
Sure.
to get out of the situation, and so they can't use these games because he's in them.
Thank God.
So it really fucked everything up. But yeah,
He
The
claimed
character-
that Squall was based on. According to this, he claimed that Squall was modeled after him and referred to Squall as Gact number 2.
Wow.
But
Wow.
Tetsuya Nomura himself said he has based a lot of Squall's appearance off of the late actor River Phoenix.
Wow.
Young
That's
Indiana
amazing.
Jones. Yeah, so there you go.
yeah. So that's a bummer. But
I gotta grab
here's
some coffee real quick while you guys talk about Dirge of Cerberus here.
this Dirge of Cerberus clip where they're like, it's like broadcasting on TV, like they found a secret like area. This game, Dirge of Cerberus, is fucked up. Like it's like a live, news show right now, and they're exploring this like kind of like the Geraldo Rivera like opening of so and so's vault or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like doing it live, but like in this game they're doing that, and they found this like secret base like in the like ruins of Midgar, and they just like filmed them all going in, and like just like there's this town, this is Calm, the town of Calm, and like literally right in the beginning of the game everybody's just having a celebration, and then fucking all these dudes just come in and just start blowing everybody away, just like really like There's no blood, but it's extremely disturbing and violent because they're just like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, really, just out of control.
I like how
like
Vincent just like silently broods like with his like golden metal boots on his bed, like with a gigantic goblet of wine next to him. Like that cup of wine is monstrous. That dude would be twisted off of that.
Yeah, so like, yeah, these guys like land down here, and like you hear people like going, ah, and then you just see them like run up and just get fucking absolutely annihilated.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so
Horrible.
fucking like, yeah, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? So yeah, pretty there are some really bizarrely like, there you go, for example.
Jesus.
They also, this all happens very early, they round up all these people into these big boxes, and you have all these like crying citizens being loaded and crammed into these like cases. And then a little bit later, they show them just dropping a case full of screaming people into like boiling Mako, where they
What
are
the fuck? This is
Yeah,
like
it's-
higher stakes than the original.
Yeah, no, it's
That
like,
was
yeah,
like,
they
what
are
the hell?
loading them up.
Oh yeah, what is this
Yeah,
canon or like?
Kill them.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
is
it's
fully
canon.
is it coming out in that?
Is he a
mobile
vampire in
compilation,
this
or-
game?
Hope so.
He's got to be.
He's a galleon beast.
Is he a vampire?
Yo, get this. His father is in this game. And do you know what his father's name is?
Oh god, I forgot.
It's Grimoire.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
So good.
So I'm
Oh, I like
naming
these
my
graphics.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I
see,
mean,
that's what like.
This
It
game looks incredible for
Yeah.
PS2.
Unfortunately, all of the environments are like the most boring shit ever.
Of course.
Or like almost all of them are.
So many games just they can't like why can't games just have compelling like stop making me play through a construction site level. Like any game that has like a construction zone level, it's just like come on.
But it's
Couldn't you
it's
thought about
real
anything
though.
else?
It's like real life. It's like walking through a shitty city. I mean, at least in defense of Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy like Midgar felt like Philadelphia in a lot of ways to me playing that game.
I mean, the areas of Final Fantasy VII are much better than this. This is the town of Calm, and it just like it could be so much cooler. But
Whoa, he's in
I know-
Calm. Whoa, there's the battlement walls. That's so
Right, so
cool.
Right, I know. The first time I ever played Dirge of Cerberus, that's how I felt about it initially. But then it doesn't take very long for it to just become totally bland. And then there's just like, I remember the guy playing it, the playthrough I was watching, he did not enjoy it. And but he's a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. And they're like, we're going to go to the Nibelheim Manor, which is awesome because the Nibelheim is like the Shinra Mansion. It's like cool, you know? And it's like, but to get there, we're gonna have to go through a sewer connection. And he's like, oh, a sewer level. And it's just like, it's totally miserable.
Well, Final
and, like,
Fantasy VIII, they give you a sewer level like almost straight away, and then they give you the same sewer level again later.
I know.
And it's like, are you
Right.
the same fucking sewers? Like
Fucking-
when you go through that secret door.
Seven Remake. Yeah, I know. No,
PS2,
7 Remake does the same fucking thing. You have to
Yeah.
go in the sewers twice. Like, why?
PS2
Oh,
color
this is
palette
okay.
is
So
just like gray, beige, dark brown, dark green, light like kind of like puke like matrix green, but like the darkest possible shade of it.
I can totally see just like they cash in that Final Fantasy VII nostalgia, you know, but that can only take you so far. Like I'm still looking at this, I'm like, I can't believe he's in Calm. Like this is amazing. But yeah, if this is all it was.
It sucks that like they basically just
Like
cashed
Calm's
that
kind
in.
of a shitty place, I guess, you know.
One of the like it sucks because like you're playing in Final Fantasy VII's world, and the like only areas you go to are Calm and the Shinra Manor. I'm thinking you go to the town of Edge, which is in fucking Advent
God.
Children. Which who
No,
cares?
dude, they jumped the shark after the original game. Up until the remake, they totally jumped the shark on every single piece of
Yeah, I
Final
mean all
Fantasy
the
VII
expansion
compilation.
lore is
Yeah.
just garbage.
Yeah, it's not good. Crisis Core I think is a cool game, but it's still, you know, it's goofy. But
I don't know, dude. It's kind of like this.
it's better than
played
this.
about what 4 or 5
Mark.
hours of Crisis Core.
I love you,
and
Mark.
I have yet to enjoy it yet. So
Damn, I beat that game and thought it was fun all the way through. But I would
like-
rate it like a 7 out of 10 maybe or something.
That's good.
In the
It's
back.
not
He
like-
nailed that dude in the back.
This guy's pretty
It's just a
good.
cold-blooded killer.
I just meant it's in the sense of like they're just sort of crapping out extra content, like locations that were somewhere on the world map that you never saw in the original game, like that have a bunch of apples or whatever. Like,
Well, yeah,
you
like
know?
the town of Benora, yeah. But like, I don't know. You go to a lot more places in Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, and there are more characters that you care about.
It's true.
I don't know.
That's
Let's take a step back real quick, folks. Let's take a step back. All right. I'm still trying not to launch these missiles by mistake, so
Of course,
I'm sorry
yeah.
I've been a little distracted here. If you, and by you I mean the chat, if you have some ideas, I'd love to hear it. And also Neo Gaia crew. If you were in charge of making a compilation of Final Fantasy VII game, what would your game be? What would you want to see? What little nugget of Final Fantasy VII would you want to see blown
Oh,
out?
wow.
And I'll get the pot stirred. I would want some kind of some sort of survival craft sandbox game in which it's kind of like that story to build a fire, and you're just in the snow area where you get lost in the snow,
Great
and,
Glacier,
and you're
yeah.
and you're up there and you're just Cloud, and you have to not you have to survive.
Wow.
You have to survive like an entire winter or something. Like, let's pretend that section of the game is actually like many months that he's like up there trying to, you know, get his shit together. That would
Yeah,
be
that's
my
pretty good.
compilation of Final Fantasy. It would be called Adrift in Snow Lust. whatever the track on the OST.
The sea song. Yeah.
What's the OST? Let's see.
I don't remember what it's
Final,
called.
Oh, we get to name them too. This is gonna be great.
Final Fantasy VII Snow. No.
I can't believe you watched this entire game, Tech. It's like we've been watching this for like 4
I
minutes
mean,
or
it's
something.
probably better than playing it.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
it's great.
I-
It's great.
I'm
but,
also like painfully bad at shooters, so like I just was like, what happens here? I want to know the plot, and that was honestly that's the moral of the story here is I watched the entire game, and really I was
Buried
paying
in snow, James.
Thank you. Buried in Snow.
Disc
Final
3,
Fa-
track 20.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, Buried in Snow. That would be
Beautiful.
my compilation game.
But yeah, I watched the entire game and paid attention to everything that was happening, and I still don't really know what happened. Like it's like so mind-numbingly fucking stupid that things happen and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dude,
like
That's
it's horrendous.
how I feel with the Halo series. I've beaten
Gameplay
every
stuff.
Halo. I've beaten Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, 4, all of these games, and I marathoned them with my roommate. We played them all co-op over the period of a month,
Oh, that's cool.
and we watched every cutscene, and I was sitting there like this the entire time, just like all right, put the subtitles on. Wait, we missed something. And then I still, to this day, cannot tell you what the fuck is going on in that game. That there's just the aliens, they fight the Halo guys, and that's all I know.
I mean,
Video games
that's
have always
really all.
struggled as a sort of narrative delivery art form. You know, for me, it's more about gameplay, the feeling of existing inside of a virtual world. You know, those are the most important. Because it's
for
like.
sure.
You know, it's like, what the fuck happens in Final Fantasy VII? Everyone pretends like they know, you know?
I know.
I know,
I have a much
know!
better understanding now than I did when I played it.
Well, Final Fantasy
Well,
VII
a lot of it
Remake
has to do
raises
with
some
terrible
eyebrows.
fucking. The translation of Final Fantasy VII and 8 when they came out was atrocious.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very...
Oh, you know what you got to check out is I just watched all of them the other day. They're really short. Tim Rogers does a series where he plays both the Japanese and the English Final Fantasy VII at the same time, and then just captures all of the footage and then edits together just like notable scenes of where the translation's different from the original. And then he like puts them both side by side and then compares and contrasts. And there's some cases where like the English translation is actually like a little bit more clever than the Japanese dialogue. But there's also a lot of like weird stuff that got, you know, clearly like rushed or mistranslated or.
Does the Japanese game, is it coherent?
What do you mean?
I mean, like Final Fantasy VII American is, it's simply not, it's not like coherent. Like you can't play that game and truly know what happens in like what actually happened in the game.
I know what you're saying. Well, it's hard to know. He only goes through the first disc. It's like a 12 video thing. Each of the videos are like 10 to 15 minutes long. And he just plays up until the first disc, and it's like it's not like the entire game. It's not like a let's play. It's like specific scenes and text boxes that he thought were noteworthy.
So you just keep making this sound worse and worse. Actually, you know, this video doesn't even exist. It's just an idea. I emailed it to him.
Oh, that's great. Well, for the compilation of Final Fantasy VII games, my idea is the one that Tim thought up in the Final Fantasy VII remake. Review, because Barrett is always saying, you know, he's like getting hit with like a laser blast from one of those mechs and like depleted to like 2 HP, and he's like, I've been through worse. And like, Tim was like, every time that happens, every time he gets bit by a gigantic fucking snake or like shot by some like plasma beam, and he's been through worse. Like, I would like to see what exactly Barrett Wallace has been through. Like, give me a pre-Final Fantasy VII like Barrett origin story, where like, you know, you see him going through some shit.
So a Barrett focus game. What would you call it?
A bear?
That's
the Barrett necessities. Just throwing that out there. I mean, TM. That's copy.
I'll comb through the soundtrack here. How about it's Final Fantasy VII? It's hard to stand on both feet.
Wow. It could be kind of like a Barrett life sim, like he's living in that like that weird like slum place with the orange cones or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That place, the fucking place.
So that would be Tim's idea. My idea would be a WarioWare like collection of mini games that's just Golden Saucer. The whole game is just Golden Saucer micro games.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think I guess it kind of technically already exists because of Before Crisis, but I would think that it would be. I wouldn't want that because it was a fucking Japanese-only cell phone game that looks like ass and like takes place like way earlier before anything happens. Yeah, but I would like to play as the Turks. I think it would be awesome to have like a game, like a mission-based game where you need to go.
I don't want to. I'll play co-op with you, but I don't want to be the bald one.
Well. There would be a bunch more, like there would be other Turks, like there was in Before Crisis, but and there used to technically be, and then you could like assemble which teams you would want to go on particular missions because they would be better suited for that kind of thing, you know?
What would you call it?
I think that.
Nobody's business but the Turks.
Let me look up the soundtrack real quick. Jesus Christ.
There's a deep cut reference there.
Now I'm gonna guess what Mark's FF7 compilation.
He's a shoemaker in Midgar.
Mark wants a like child rearing simulation. You know, like those babies games with the Z about Zach's childhood and his rearing into adulthood.
Our least favorite character.
What's insane? I don't understand. Mark, I played Crisis Core and all it did was make me love Zach. Like, really? I think he's a fantastic character. Yeah.
He's an amazing character.
I don't know. The way he's the only character in Crisis Core who actually is a character. Everybody else is just like, this is the dialogue.
It's not a glowing
Zach
review
is
of the game right there.
No, I mean,
But-
no, for sure that sucks. But like Zach is like
I get it.
about him.
I get it. I played Crisis Core and I did like it, and I liked him in that game. I just feel like
One of the
he has
search results there
nothing
was
to do
Crisis
with-
Core Y.
That's
The autofills.
Autofill. That's amazing.
Oh, this looks
I'm
pretty
not
good.
here to complain about it. I won't even get into any spoilers here at all. But I did like him in that game, and I agree he was the only fleshed out character. I mean, that's the least you could ask for from the protagonist of an entire game. But rewind a little bit. I started thinking about what my game would be. I think I might have forgotten. Now I'm remembering again. Okay, I want a motorcycle racing game that's also an RPG where you get to customize your motorcycle, like really detailed, and just maybe it's also like the RPG like Racing Lagoon, which I
Racing
want to
Lagoon.
play, made by Squaresoft. And you
About-
told me today that they made a racing game, I guess, for PS2 that I've never played, which I want to check out. But
Well, that would be
Starring
sick.
Roche. You could
Yeah.
call it Roaching Lagoon.
yeah, and Roche is like sexually attracted to motorcycles. Everyone in Advent Children
Yeah.
has a motorcycle. They
He wants
obviously
to fuck
like
the motorcycle.
Everyone in Square
Yeah.
Enix does, let's face it. But
Yeah,
that would actually
yeah,
be
well-
sick, because you could have tracks all over the game world, you know?
There you go.
Like,
Yeah.
you could go to all kinds of locations, like there
In
could
a
be
world map.
one, right by the farm, and you have to avoid the giant snake the whole time, you know? Like,
Damn, that would be sick. The
coming,
snake's
like,
like eating the track
like,
behind you.
yeah, oh, that would
Oh
be dope.
my god, yeah.
Let's get Square on the horn and just explain to them
All
in
right.
English
I know-
our ideas.
I know what I want to call my Turks game.
Yes.
And the UI in this game is real good. The
I
menus are
like
really
the look
good.
of this. Yeah.
I would call it Turks theme.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I actually I don't know. I just wanted to make a joke. Oh, maybe I'd call it. You could call it Lurking in the Darkness. You could call it Under the Rotting Pizza.
Oh,
Call it Turkish Delight. Yeah.
I wouldn't call it that.
Okay.
Turk's giving.
Turksgiving, stuffing and turk,
Yeah. Anyway.
leftover Thanksgiving breakfast. Starring Zach.
What if my answer was I just wanted like a Facebook puzzle game that takes like 3 or 4 different backgrounds that are all the Temple of the Ancients.
It's fucking damn it. Oh man, I can see the game icon in my mind's eye though, like like all like animated and shitty. That'd be good.
Mark, what would you call your game? What would you call your motorcycle?
Ooh, I don't know. I hadn't thought that far. In fact, I was just watching this. It's really making me kind of want to revisit Crisis Core, despite not liking it a little bit part of my personality. But yeah, I like
It
because
looks really good.
it does look good, and I think
It's fun.
I like a lot of the stuff that they tossed in there. I think one of my main problems is like the Genesis specifically,
Yeah, it's stupid.
as a character. Yeah, and like how
Yeah.
like it's kind of got that Star Wars retcon vibe where it's like, oh, actually like everybody was everywhere at the same time doing something
Yeah, it
crazy
sucks.
and important at the exact same time. Like,
Yeah.
and even this.
That's why
this,
that's why it's not that great of a game.
It's true, but I'm not giving
but
enough
it's
credit. So
solid.
I appreciate you saying
Up
that
the
it's solid. I
stairs,
agree
man.
with
They
you.
don't
Yeah.
fucking care.
So cool.
So awesome.
Yeah. This would
Good
be a
thing they
great
had
like.
gas in them.
A CD player is playing right now by Dynamic Shroud. This is like a dope AMV.
Wait, what's the name of that motorcycle? Actually, it has a sick name. That would be a good name for the game.
Hey.
Yeah. Daytona something.
Daytona, Hardy Daytona.
That's the name of the game right there.
Hardy
Hardy
Daytona.
Daytona USA.
Wow.
Not exactly. I don't think that's sweet.
You'd have to
Game
get
over,
the
yeah.
dude that did the Daytona theme. The Daytona USA.
Daytona. GAMEO. Hey, speaking of which, watching Dragon Ball Z, with my girlfriend who speaks and reads Japanese.
Oh, this guy has a girlfriend.
She's an integral part of this story. All right, I'm sorry. I was with some person. All right,
I'm just kidding.
some random person who speaks Japanese, and we're watching Dragon Ball Z, and she's like, what? She's reading the katakana where it says the name underneath Dragon Ball Z in Japanese. She's like, it says like Dragon Ball like Zeto. What's up with that? I'm like, oh, it's like Zed. It's like
oh my gosh.
yeah, like straight up, like in Japanese, it's like Dragon Ball Zed is the name of that fucking show.
The Canadian. This is what the Canadians took from us.
It's true. Well, Canada is closer to Japan than America, which is also a fact. Not counting Alaska, though, but Dragon Ball Z was made before that addition to our union.
Wow.
To our union?
Oh, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh boy, we do have fun.
Well, so that was great. I love talking about Final Fantasy. I know we all do. Final Fantasy VII is great. Love talking.
Whoa, be careful here. What are you doing? Are you gonna... You're not gonna
launch No. I'm not messing around. I'm not
Sorry.
right now. No, I'm just gonna put the focus back on this here. We'll just pop in here again.
I was just worried because of how how big of a problem it would be if you accidentally.
If I accidentally launch these missiles, if we're the ones who accidentally do that, it's gonna be a big problem.
One of the funniest translation differences between 7 Japanese and the U.S. is the Midgar's mayor's name is it basically translates to Papa Domino.
Really?
2 pizza chains
named after 2 pizza places
under the rotting pizza. It's like.
Oh, dude! I actually did read a thing about that.
Yeah,
that's literally why he's called Domino.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Fucking crazy.
I had forgotten about
shit.
that. Dude, Final Fantasy VII is so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so
Japanese love those food puns, even going back into like ancient times, you find food puns in the Tale of Genji and shit.
So check out this segue. I can't really segue. It's more like a before and never segue. But yeah, no. The Black Ships, which is like a song on Death's Dynamic Shroud album World War Olympics, is based it's. I won't get into it, but basically there was an old Japanese poem called "The Black Ships" that is entirely about American trade ships coming in and basically forcing Japan to open its borders for trade, marking the end of Japanese isolation or whatever. But it's also entirely a pun about a brand of tea called Jokusen, which apparently is some word that's related to the Black Ships in some way. And also, on the cover, the original cover of World War Olympics, one of the QR codes, the one you can use, links to a Game FAQs website page where it's about the translation differences between Japan and American Final Fantasy IV, which you had just been talking about that. So that's what I mean. It was like a double segue.
Oh, that's perfect.
It already happened. Yeah. So pretty good.
Well, so I know that we really just jumped right into it because basically we're sneaking around this base. There's this really sick song playing. It's like.
Yeah.
So we're sneaking around, my uniform is itchy and smelly because I'm selfie here, obviously. My primary concerns are friends, garden festival, and that's where they end, buddy. That's my whole fucking life. So we were sneaking around. We found this panel, and that's why we've been using this computer, doing our best to mess around without launching the missiles. Okay, but we kind of glossed over a lot of housekeeping because we haven't been here for 2-3 years. It feels like. It's really been, there was a 2-week gap there, and we are sorry about that, folks. We'd love to be more present. There's just a whole lot going on right now for everyone in Neo Gaia Fantasy, and I would just love, except for maybe Mark. So, I'm just I'm just kidding, of course, but I would love to take a second. Let's do a little housekeeping here. Let's clear the board. So I talked a lot about Tech. And we know that he came over. We know that he slept on an air mattress in the shipping room, which
the liminal space.
It is not. It is a space that is used for shipping. It is full of stuff, and I'm in there all the time. And then also we found out that Tech had hot cocoa while he was here. But what was he doing here? Huh?
What the heck was I doing there?
I don't even remember. No,
I don't.
The truth is that Tech and I headlined an awesome show in New York City that was really fun, and it was the first time. I played a show there in March of 2019. That was the last time Death Dynamic Shrouds.
Wait, at the Mercury Lounge?
Not at the Mercury Lounge. In some.
Just in NYC.
Yeah. It was just like a cute little bar, back room. It was actually really, really cool. And then a week later, that's when the lockdown started. So it was like, oh, cool, we got our yayas out. This can't last that long, and here we are.
4 years later.
Yeah. Yes. We played a great show with our good friend Pat Shennington, and of course Disco Holic also played, and that was super entertaining. They even had they did a remix of "Pull the Trig on the Za," the famous Tech Honors song from Twitter.
Wow.
It was like
it was how Disco Holic opened his show.
Yeah, wow. It was pretty incredible.
It was pretty. Yeah, I was like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah. I'm sorry, just real quick.
I know what you're going to talk about, and I want to talk about it because I want to tell the story.
Well, it might not be the same thing, but you go ahead. I'll tell you if it's the same thing only after you've completed.
Well, maybe it's okay. Well, yeah, okay. So no, we're like pulling up in the Uber. And maybe it's a different thing. There's a fucking... So we know that the show is Pad and Disco Holic, who, we know their like sets consist of just like, or their stage just consists of like their like, DJ equipment, laptop, and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Not the same thing, not the same story, but I know what you're saying. Okay. It's all good.
Yeah. So we pull up and there's a fucking big like van thing with like really like professional like cases with like that are all marked full of like clearly like music equipment, and I'm like, is this like shouldn't this stuff already be like in the
Disco Holic is like super famous and we don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on here? And there's like clearly roadies and not the band, like unloading all this stuff, and they're bringing it in. And then they mentioned to us inside, like the sound guys, like apparently this venue puts on 2 shows a night. Mm-hmm. So like there's an early show from 7 to 9:30, and they close for like half an hour and reopen at 10. And everybody, the rest of the time. So we're the second show, but these guys are from the first show, and they're a band from Ireland or Dublin or whatever. And or did they say Dublin? I don't know. Might have
they said Dublin.
Anyway, okay,
they said Triplin.
Anyway, so they're from Dublin, but they're not there. It's just the roadies or whatever. And we're like, they're like, the band's called Inhaler. So, like, we look up Inhaler later, and we're like, who the hell is Inhaler? And we like look on Spotify. They have like 750,000 monthly listeners or something like that. So it's like, all right, like they got stuff going on or whatever. And we listened to it a little bit while we were on the subway, just like through the phone. Or no, I think we had headphones, but it was just like, I don't know, kind of like alt indie rock. Almost like, I don't know, maybe Coldplay indebted indie rock, or
Yeah, a little edgier than Coldplay.
Yeah.
It was like danceable, like rock, with a little bit of an edge.
So we were like talking to each other, like it's sort of confusing, like as part of like the music community that we're in. It's just like, it's really strange to us that people like still make this kind of music, because it feels like they've been making this kind of music for like
our whole lives.
Yeah, like forever, and it's like never really changed. And so like, it's so weird that people like, I mean, like these guys are definitely younger than us, and like they're just like making this style of music that to us is like so outdated. We're like I'm like, why are people still doing this? And I remember James was like, well, this generation's never gonna get to see U2, so this is like the next thing or whatever, Because
the guy sounded like Bono, like.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, like whatever. So we go back to the venue or whatever, and then it fucking turns out that like it's Bono's son's band.
Wow.
Like straight up had no idea. And then we like met him, but we don't know which one was his son.
Yeah, but we met him. We're 1 degree from
Well,
Bono now, which is cool. Yeah.
So
Nice.
So basically, we got to meet Bono.
And one of them thought Dust Dynamic Shroud was like the sickest name. They're like,
yeah,
really
that
cool
was
name.
that was nice. So, anyways, that was a fun, cute little aside.
But it was
James,
well, my story was just that Tech and I had a big day on the town together. Because I mean, Tech hadn't been to New York in quite some time.
To be clear, we had to sound check at 2 p.m. and then they were like, all right, well, like we couldn't be there for the first show, so they were like, you gotta fuck off for 10 hours or whatever. And we were like, what the fuck? So then we just had to like leave, and it's like 36 degrees outside.
Yeah. It was Black Friday. It was the first really cold day of the year. I was underdressed. There was a whole, like, we were leaving Tech and I took the mega bus there from my place in Philly, and there was a whole thing where I'm like, should I bring my coat? No, it's gonna be in like the 40s. It'll be okay. So I'm just gonna bring like my Sukujan and like a sweater. Like a sweater, like not even a thick one, like this style sweater. And we go outside to get in the Uber, and I'm just instantly like, I fucked up. We get to the bus stop. We have to wait like a half hour. I'm just like freezing already, just like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I made a mistake. And so then we get to New York, and it's cold. We sound check, it's great, we meet everyone, we hang out, it's fun, sign some posters, then it's like, okay, we gotta clear out. It's like, all right, let's get something to eat, and then just walking to like a diner to get food. It's so fucking cold. But so we went to Fifth Ave to do some Black Friday shopping.
Nice.
Couldn't get in Nintendo World, line around the block. We saw the tree at 30 Rock, not lit up yet.
I really think they were like lighting it up though, because people were like piling in, but it was like early enough in the day that it wasn't a problem yet.
Yeah. And then we just tech spotted a Uniglow and like a moth to the flame, and I went, and I was able to get a wonderful down kind of liner that just was real form-fitting and just real warm and cheap and on sale, and it was just wonderful. And then took Tech to Central Park because he had never been.
Central Park? That was fun.
Yeah, we walked down the mall. I showed him the alley and taught him the word alley.
I've never heard of the word ballet before.
Right, which I thought it was an English word that everyone knew. Apparently it's French. It means a line of trees on the side of a street. And then we went to Apple. Anyone who follows my Instagram Which, you know, it's like, oh my god, James, you went to an Apple store, you're such a loser. Okay, A, yes, but B, they have a Mac Pro there, and like, they only made like X amount of thousands of those things, and they do not have them. You cannot go to like your Apple store in your town and go see a Mac Pro, you know, which is Johnny Ive's like final piece of industrial design work that he ever did for Apple. And so it's a very, very beautiful like final statement, you know, from the man who changed the world like 5 times over. And that's Apple's industrial designer. You know, he designed the original iMac, so all the see-through, translucent, colorful plastic shit from the turn of the century, that was because of him. You can thank him. The original iPod, that was his design. The iPhone, at which all smartphones are based on today, that was him. So it was important for me to see a Mac Pro in person, okay? And they had one there, and
James made me take a picture of it. I was very uncomfortable.
He was,
doing it
because it was like a packed Apple store on Black Friday with just like regular people, just like you know, wanting to buy, you know, like a phone or something. I'm like, oh, Tech, take a picture of me next to this computer. But Tech got the best fucking picture, and you should have seen him. It was just like, you know, just like so slick. Like, damn, Tech, you take some creepers, man. That was fucking good. So Tech got a great creeper of me standing next to the Mac Pro. So that was my story. Bono Schmano. I saw a computer in a store, and it was fucking awesome. So it ended up being a great trip, but we didn't play until 1 in the morning, which is like 3rd time in a row.
Nightmare.
Yeah. Hope we get to play a little bit earlier in some future shows. We'll see. And then we got out of the venue at like 2:30 a.m. or so, then had to catch a bus that left at 3:30 a.m. And there's just nothing around. It's even colder, even windier. Tech gets coffee just to warm his hands, but he's so cold.
Dude, that was fucked.
That his hands were shaking uncontrollably, and coffee was just spilling all over his hand. I felt so
like
bad.
It was insane. I was like, I was like, oh my god, like I have to like set this down because I can't stop fucking shaking. What the fuck is going on?
Blashy, no, they did not cut off our set this time. We got to play our set in its entirety, which was a whole lot of fun. And then we get in the bus. And it's one of the worst buses I've ridden a lot of mega buses back and forth from New York City, and we go upstairs, and the floor is just like someone spilled like a 60-ounce soda just all over the floor. And of course, no one cleaned it up; it was just left like that. And we sit down go to our seats. There's someone sitting in our seat, of course, and I have to be like, this is our seat. It says right here. We get in the seat, and there's this like thing right over our heads that's just like vibrating. It's like hitting just the right like resonant beat with the engine, so it's just like. And I can't put like our shit on the floor because it's too sticky. I'm just like, and we're cold and tired.
It's literally 3:30 in the fucking morning, and like we're so tired.
The good news is, once the bus started moving, the sound did stop, which was nice. And then I was able to catch a few Z's on the way back, and then we got back to Philly, and fucking Tech goes into the shipping room, goes to sleep, and then I get in my bed and go to sleep, and it was like fucking insane because we woke up. And then we went to New York City, played a show, walked around the city, did some shopping, went to 30 Rock, and then got on a bus, and then I was sleeping in my own bed, like at the end of that experience. And it definitely felt like I should have been in a hotel or something, but we didn't want to just lose a shitload of money. Yeah.
Quick chat notes. Congratulations to Riley Miller on acquiring a MacBook Air.
Oh, shit!
Quiz. Yes, I do still have this. I was given a stuffed animal pizza. Here we go. I was given a stuffed animal pizza, and I kept that. That is the za.
This is for Riley Miller.
Let me see if can I like replicate it? Like,
Yeah.
Do your best.
Pretty good.
You make your mouth lower somehow. I don't even know.
I'm like, how am I?
I mean, it might be kind of glitching, you know, like stretching you out a little.
Your nose has no definition in there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics character.
No.
But anyway, so it was great because it turns out Tech's plane didn't leave until the evening of the next day. And so we woke up, you know, I wake up maybe about noon, you know, and Tech wakes up, you know, around that time. And I got Tech here. And it's just like, oh man, this is great. So we got to work on the new DDS album, which I know it's like a meme at this point, but we have turned the corner. I can say with full confidence, we are now like, that one's done. That one's done. Like knocking them away.
Can I hear some of that?
I don't think so.
Not until it's done.
Of course you can hear it, you big galoot.
I'm excited for you guys. Yeah.
I'm really sorry because James and I have sort of dominated this conversation, but I have to share. I have one more thing to share that's like important that I share this. I leave James's place. I didn't talk about this.
Oh my god.
On social media, but I did talk about it in the Discord a little bit.
This would have been Dino Hour content for sure.
I know this really would have been Dino Hour content. Anyway, yeah, I leave. You know, I go to the airport in Philadelphia. James lives about, I don't know, probably a 30-minute ride from from the airport. So yeah, I'm in an Uber. I go there, and I'm sitting at the airport, and it's a small plane going straight to Dayton. And sometimes with small planes, they like tell you that they're gonna valet your baggage, your luggage, or whatever. So they're like announcing it over top like a few minutes before we're supposed to board. They're like, if you have anything in your bags that you want to take out now just in case, laptops or keys or whatever. And I was like, no, I think my fucking keys. And I realized that I left my only house key and my only car key at James's house, and I have to board a plane in 5 minutes.
God.
And the plane, I forgot, it wasn't going to Dayton. It was going to Cincinnati, which is an hour drive from Dayton. My car is parked there for $15 a day in their lot. It's Saturday.
Dude, I didn't know you left your car keys too.
And
so I'm like,
and Tech has an album to finish too, which is the best part.
Dude, yeah, so the whole thing fucking leading up to Philadelphia was I have a hard time with, like, being creative when I have like a looming responsibility coming. And the Philadelphia trip was that way for me. So I was like, I get back from Philly, I'll have 4 days to finish this mixtape for the club. It's gonna be fine because I had like maybe half of it recorded, and I was like, I can do this. I have the I'll just fucking work my ass off for 4 days. But then I'm like, not only can I not even fucking get into my house, I can't even drive there. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I text James, confirm that he has the keys. He does. I'm like, fuck, like I literally don't know what to do. Even like was like, do I cancel my flight? Like how the fuck am I supposed to? So I determined to like go fly home, and then I called my dad, and then I actually Ubered to his house, and then I got to stay the night there. But I was like, James, can you overnight me the keys?
Real quick, how long and expensive was the Uber?
Yeah, so that's the other fucking thing. So the last time that I used the airport, which was to go to Austin, I got in my car and the car wouldn't start. And like I got in the car to go to the airport, and the car wouldn't start, and I was like, fuck, I don't have time to fuck around with this. So I had to call an Uber, and it was $85. And so then here comes creeping fucking death of my car.
He's the one who caused all this, is what I'm implying here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was $85 to go there. And then when I came back, I don't know if I even told you this, James. when I came back to Cincinnati from Austin, I was gonna Uber back, but Cincinnati's airport doesn't have designated ride app areas, and I was like, do they not accept Ubers here? Like, what the fuck? Because some airports for a long time did not.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so I went to like fucking taxis. $250 was how much I had to pay to ride home.
Oh my.
But the Uber ride to the airport and the taxi ride back from the airport cost more than my plane ticket to Austin.
That's cool, because that finally beats a dubious achievement that I had for that $200 taxi ride in
I wouldn't have been able to
Narita.
go on living after that. I just
Heck,
I
God.
was
what I'd be
very
able to do.
yeah. I didn't even use Ghost Diamond's money because I was just like, no, I'll do this.
Folks, your support means a lot to us. We really appreciate it.
Anyway, so I was really excited this time because I fucking fixed my car. I was like, I don't have to deal with fucking Ubers this time and like all that, right? But then I had to take a fucking Uber ride, but it was like $80 to get home, and then I knew I was gonna have to eventually get an Uber and take it back to the airport just so I could get my fucking car and then drive it an hour back home. Luckily, my dad was really chill and he drove me to the
I
airport.
was gonna say, make your dad do it. I mean, what has he done for you? Just kidding.
It was really shitty, and then also I couldn't get into my apartment. I asked James to overnight me the keys, which of course he did, but was unable to immediately because it was too late on Saturday and Sundays. There's no mailing.
No post on Sunday.
So I had to wait an additional day, and then I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll go talk to my apartment complex and have them give me a key to let me in. They're closed on Sundays. The office is closed on Sundays. So I call a locksmith to get me into my apartment, and the locksmith requires God, Jesus Christ, James. The locksmith required an ID that shows that I live here, but I don't have that because I still have a Florida ID. So I was unable to prove that I lived here, so they would not unlock it. So I had to finish the entire mixtape A Quiet Reset in 2 days. I did.
And he finishes it, and then he goes and he's like, dude, I don't know if I can get this up by midnight because my internet is so slow.
It took 2.5 hours to upload the album to Bandcamp.
Dear Lord.
That's how bad the upload here is.
What the fuck, man?
That's why there's no dynamic.
I told Tech he needs to call a lawyer because he's like being scammed.
Dude.
It is like straight up a scam.
I actually researched that the other night. It's a problem in apartment complexes across the country, and it's technically illegal, but there are these weird loopholes that they're able to legally work around. However, some apartment complexes have been successfully sued over it.
You'd have to meet your neighbors.
I say you raise the whole fucking building, dude.
Yeah,
Burn it
the
to the
problem
ground.
is, in case people are wondering how this works, what they're doing is they're using a shared network between all of the apartments, so everybody's using this.
It's hostile internet, straight up.
And they're charging all of us. You know, I pay $80 a month for it.
It's fucking. It's criminal. It's criminal.
No.
Yeah.
Like hostile internet.
Yes. But I have no choice. I signed a lease, and I'm on it until Christmas of 2022. My lease
you ever
ends
thought
on
about like physical intimidation or anything like that?
Because I know a guy. I mean, you're in Dayton. I know a guy there, man.
They did warn me. I mean, they really were like very upfront about it.
But that's like,
But
I'm gonna kill your mom. I'm warning you. I'm gonna do it.
Just
I'm
letting
sorry,
you know,
dude. I
it's
warned
gonna
you. I warned you I was going to. Anyway, folks, that was Dino Time, which will be a new segment that we have here on the Virtual Desktop Experience. And I mean, these are the people that have killed Welcome to Dino Hour, and I know that you have your own fan base and your own people that look forward to that show every week, and now they're not getting it. And the reason is these assholes that are running your apartment complex are hanging you out to fucking dry. And frankly,
exactly right.
It makes me upset.
it's very frustrating. And I recently did feel I don't know what happened, but the person who lives on the other side of me I don't know if they moved their TV right up against my wall or what the deal is, but I hear the bass of their TV for all of the evening hours. And I went to the grocery store last night to just get away from it, and like all of the store shelves, or half of them, were empty because of the fucking supply chain issue. And I was like feeling like the walls are fucking closing in. And I was like, the honeymoon of Ohio is over. I don't like this anymore.
Come stay with me, Tech, if you want to.
Yeah, I
had the same kind of claustrophobic feeling this morning when I saw that Sean Lennon tweet about the skull NFTs, and that's why I had to take it to Twitter, you know.
I literally typed up an entire tweet in response to one of your tweets about exactly what I just told you about with the supply chain, going to the grocery store, and also how USPS is like a fucking joke right now, and how America just fucking sucks because of it. And then I realized that nothing I said was like directly correlating to anything you had just said. I was just
but it does entirely. It does entirely.
I know.
So Tech and I have a little thing that we say to each other because we're best friends. Here, let me. I can. I'm gonna have to pull this into Photoshop and just crop it real quick, just for the full effect here. Let me just unlock that background layer. Thank you. And then we're gonna go ahead and delete that and that and that. And we're gonna save this as a PNG. Oh, I missed a little bit of the white. I'm sorry. I just can't. We'll save this as a PNG. I promise this is totally worth it. And smallest file, and 99%. All right, and it's done. So, Tech and I do this little thing. We say paged, right? So this is an image that sometimes I send to Tech, and what this means is page. Now, a page is, like an assistant to a knight in medieval times. But what I mean is that we are on the same page. So we are paged.
So we're paged.
Like
and all you have to do is like
P-A-G-E-D.
Right. If you understand what the other person is saying, you just go paged.
Paged. Yeah, that's all we gotta say. Or just send an image of a young boy in medieval garb.
James, save that and make that a Discord emoji.
Oh, it should be a sticker.
Or a sticker. Yeah, we
I
get
think it'd
everybody
be a
paged.
little too small for a.
Yeah, it might be.
It looked like this as an emoji, just like a little man. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we are paged.
So it works.
So Tech and I were both feeling claustrophobic in this.
What is funny, Quiz is correct, and I have thought about this, but literally it's just like, it's more slang that means the same thing as synced.
Yeah.
It's just something we already
Tech and I are into sync-based, sometimes we get our drips in our sync that...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But
anyway,
it's the world we live in, and that was the larger point I was trying to make online. It's not like... It's like, the whole NFTs are destructive to the environment thing, like, I don't buy it, whatever. Crypto exists, and it has for a very long time. Making that the issue for NFTs is like kind of bullshit, whatever. My problem with it is that outside of
ugly.
Like the small scope of like cool artists that mint NFTs or whatever, like the majority of it are these like generated trading card. And it's always like it's this like Western style, like the worst kind of illustrative design, like the worst
monkey stuff
type.
Literally, yeah, it's fucking atrocious.
And the greatest, the challenge for me, I was an early basher of cryptocurrency. I had a alt Reddit account, back in 2013, 2012, and I posted on r/Buttcoin, which I actually, I found that subreddit. That's how I found out a lot about Bitcoin, was through these people. That was right around the time of the Mt. Gox exit scam fiasco, which everyone at that time in r/Buttcoin thought this is the end of this bullshit because like it's not even real money. This is like total bullshit. But here we are, and now Bitcoin's worth like $50,000. Like I was wrong. I was incredibly wrong, and everyone that is making fun of NFTs, you are wrong. Like it's not gonna stop. This shit is not going anywhere. There are warehouses of GPUs in China that are not shutting down, baby. Like nothing can stop the blockchain. I know it's stupid. I know it's like unbelievably like just the ugliest, worst part of humanity amplified, just greed and avarice and shitty design, and it's all of it all combined together and just the worst.
I'm checking out this tweet.
I mean, it's just like
It does suck.
I mean, it's just like people obsessed with like a decentralized database. It's so fucking lame and boring. But like this is it. Like it's here forever. We will die. The blockchain will still exist. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. So we just got to learn to live with it and just stop pretending like there's anything we can do about it. And it's just as shitty as everything else in this world.
Sean's Sean Lennon's comment on his own thing says, also, I never shill anything, but these guys have been really cool. And frankly, I'm just sick of all the ooh-woo crap.
Yeah, I can't even.
Wow.
So embarrassing.
But look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to spread around any like hopelessness or hate or anything. I'm just saying. I'm just speaking from experience as a long time crypto detractor. All I have seen are people that I despise getting rich beyond belief and rubbing it in everyone's faces. And that's like, if you care about it, then you're just gonna be hurt, you know? Like, there's shitty things in this world.
Somebody then commented, I'm tired of this baby stuff. I want art that's made for 11-year-olds.
I saw that. That was good.
Anyway, look, my larger point was not even about crypto or any of that shit. It's the fact that the President of the United States gets on Twitter and says, don't worry, folks. There's going to be plenty of fixins on the shelf for Thanksgiving, folks. You know, like, don't worry about your stores not having food. It's like, fucking Christ, man. Like, even, like, 2 years ago, the world, it sucked ass, but it wasn't this bad, you know? Like,
yeah.
I have experienced a great uptick in mental sanity by just, like, I just don't... I still go on Twitter, but I don't read the feed. Like I just look for stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna see what Mark tweeted about today, and then I just look up his profile, and then I read it, and then I'll of course check on you guys' stuff, and then I check for good deals on video games from Wario64, and then I log off.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's social media definitely makes it worse when you're constantly exposed to it. You know, it's like, why should any of us care about NFTs when it's clearly not a space that we're like interested in, like whatsoever? Like,
yeah,
I tweeted about it and I was like, why don't you just go vegan or whatever? That's the abridged version of my tweets.
Oh god!
And
you got absolutely fucking destroyed.
Everybody unfollowed me, subtweeted me. It was pretty fun.
Well, I said basically the same thing. It's like, if you really care about the environment, if that's your issue with NFTs, like, get rid of that gaming PC and get yourself an M1, dude, because that thing uses as much electricity as your fucking refrigerator. So you can play Warzone or whatever. Like, it's pathetic, man. You care about the environment? Where's your Mac? Let's see it. Anyway. I later realized, and I tweeted this as well, that, you know, the important thing, and it's great because this really sad ACMJ song, the 128 prayers that I'm giving to not die alone in the Buddhist temple in the mountains of Korea. Despite all of it, all we can do is hold on to the things that do warm our heart and bring us happiness and joy. And for me, that's experiencing and giving love, whatever that means to you. We'll talk more about that later. And just the joy of creating art, especially creating art with your friends, and not because you want to do a collection of 308 apes and make, you know, fucking $2 million and then do a big weird tweet thread about like how you manifested your reality and wealth or whatever. It's like, no, I just like, I want to make sick art because I
think it's funny that like a lot the sort of detractors or like criticizers of like the merch boom in vaporwave and like 100% electronica and all that stuff is often like that. The criticism is that it's like this like money based. It's like not about the art; it's about money. But like, if you actually want to know what it's like when it's not about the art and it is about just the money, then look no further than
the NFT space.
Lazy Lion, yeah, like that is literally because the thing is like I was thinking about it earlier. I want to ask on Twitter because I know I have like some followers and stuff who are like pro NFTs. I want to ask like what do people who are like who follow, you know, who are in my world or whatever, who are pro NFT, what do they think of, like, what does Christ think about like Bored Apes and Lazy Lions? You know what I mean? Like, there's no
probably that it gives them a bad rap, you know?
I would think that, yeah, but I would also like to know from like what, you know, if as part of like that community, what percentage of that community do you think is really is like that, and what percentage of it is actually like, maybe it's something very small, but it's like the loudest. You know what I mean? It's like what we
are those the artists. Like, are they just the ugly ones, or are they like the ones that are stealing art? Because that's the whole other side of it too, right? It's just straight art theft.
Well, like, I don't know about that. But
that's a whole different. Yeah, I'm just like curious about the. Well, like the art theft I mean, I feel like that's a totally different argument that's like about something else. Because I
just wasn't sure if what you were saying was like just the ugly ape things, which I also agree is horrible, and I wouldn't want to be associated with that, even if I upheld the nicer sides of NFT stuff. But
yeah,
the whole like just taking prominent artists' art and then quote unquote minting it and selling it or whatever.
Yeah, anyways, I mean, like that.
It's a different discussion. You're right, but I wasn't
feel
sure.
Like that's
yeah. Who are you referring to? So.
I'm just curious about the general concept of like putting art, like, how do you feel as an artist who's actually trying to? I mean, I know several people who have tried to make NFTs and like that are like treating it like a sincere art platform. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it very well should be treated that way for what it can do, but.
And that's the great tragedy, is that the NFT concept in itself is not inherently stupid the way people think it is, because it's like when something resells, the artist always gets a cut, which is like awesome, right? And the whole idea of, okay, here's an NFT to prove ownership of a digital asset, because we have artists that produce digital content that is very easy to replicate. So how does that artist buy food if they just have to post their art on Tumblr and then make Tumblr rich and then not get any money? And I think that side of the NFT, of what an NFT is like completely ignored when people joke about right click and saving. It's like that time that asshole quote tweeted us on the Dynamic Shroud Twitter. When we posted that video, they quote tweeted us with a screenshot of them downloading our club tapes from SoulSeek.
Yeah.
And they were like, I just stole all this, LMAO. It's like,
nice.
Great, dude.
I feel so happy and satisfied.
What the
with
fuck
yourself.
is your problem? You know what I mean? So like NFTs offered a solution to like the idea of a digital object having, you know, provenance, or, you know, being able to own, you know, whether or not that's stupid or not, I guess that's up to you. But I think that
I think that it's fine, because I think to insist otherwise is to completely disrespect digital artists.
Yes.
And their ability to pursue it as a career as any other artist that exists outside of the digital realm. And just to say like, oh well, you don't get to you don't get to participate in this same concept because you make digital art. I think that's unfair
Especially
to them.
in the
And I think
21st century. It's like,
yeah, I think it's a conservative view, and it's really lacking in. I don't know. I think it's a joke, but yeah.
That said, of course, in all spaces, the same way that you release a video game with like cool systems in it, the first thing that people are going to do is try to break it. And NFTs are like a video game that uses real life currency. And so of course it's going to get broken beyond, repair, and the way that it's broken are by, the people that make these, the avatar trading scene, and the fact that people like got into that just because of FOMO and greed and avarice and all those things that I was talking about. I mean, people can't fucking help themselves. So even if it was like a cool idea, I remember, my libertarian buddy told me about crypto art about 2 months before it blew up, because he was all about it, and he like showed me, an image. He's like, so this, I own this, and only I own this, and I'm, and I'm coming at it with all that skepticism, like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, no, dude, there's like a token on the blockchain, that proves that I own this. I'm like, I guess that's cool, man, but yeah, I don't really get it. You're cool, whatever. So anyway, folks, I didn't mean to spiral off, but just needed to sound off about it, just a little bit. Because seeing those avatars, and I went to some site when I was just hate viewing some NFT shit when I was in the thick of it. There's like it was like Clucks in space was the concept, and it was like 3D chickens, and then they changed the texture of their spacesuit. But they had a 2-year roadmap explaining how they were going to sell these tokens and then hire someone to write a script, and they were going to make a CGI movie. And depending on like how much you invested in like your like character avatars that you purchase as NFTs, it would
Just
influence
make my
like
skin crawl.
And it's like,
Listen
that's
to this
not
anymore.
how you make narrative art. Like, that's not gonna be good. Like, that is so fucking wrong and offensive to me as an artist. Ugh. Anyway, the point is, if you really hate NFTs, continue to support your artists that are just doing the best they can, because at the end of the day, I think that we all deserve to survive, and we exist in a capitalist system, and hey, that's a drag, but it's not changing unless you want millions of people to die, so here we are.
Yeti Glenn's got a good point here. It's like not actually stored, like you can't actually store a JPEG.
Yeah, they don't exist on. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of issues, but I still think in general the idea of artists having control of their digital works and retaining rights and getting paid when they're resold is awesome, especially since I go on Discogs and see people flipping records that we are currently selling for 4 times their cost, and people buy them and we get nothing from that. And it's like, fine, whatever. That's the way
always
it works.
perplexing. It's like, wouldn't you check? I don't know. Wouldn't you check
The
any
answer
other
is
site before you
no.
bought that on Discogs?
The answer is no, my friend.
I've seen that happen too, and like I'll make it a point to like sign in and leave a link if it's still available. I'll be like, yo, you can still buy this from me here, and you're not supporting some fucking asshole. Like, here's the link.
Speaking of fucking assholes, I think that we should jump into Spotify.
Oh man, I'm not.
We don't have to. We don't.
We didn't. No one has any.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Listen to any
We don't have to do
music.
that.
Oh, apparently Glenn just donated to us and put a rant into the Streamlabs thing. I don't. Maybe it's he just texted me.
Oh
I
no!
wanna hear-
I'm so
I wanna hear
sorry.
Glenn's-
Oh
he
my!
donated
It's underneath.
the
I'm
weed-
sorry. The
the weed
donation is
number.
underneath
Oh
you.
no!
Oh,
Okay, right.
thanks,
There's
Riley.
people donating this whole time.
Okay,
Well,
so
we've
we're
lost-
gonna have
we've
to.
missed
Let me
hundreds of
jump into
dollars.
Streamlabs. We're gonna read
Yeah.
every single word that's been given to us tonight. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I just figured people were just fucking over our bullshit. We haven't been around, so no one wanted
Here's
to
$5 to stop talking about Dirge of Cerberus, please.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
second here.
Glenn, you missed our Dirge of Cerberus
Glenn, we
section
love
right
you,
before.
by the way. Thank you, Glenn. I found you on Twitter, and I'm a Glenn follower now, and that makes me happy.
I just can't even think about
Anything.
crypto or grifters or NFT or any of that shit. Like the only thing I think of when I wake up is like, what's my work capacity today? Like, what percentage of my brain can I dedicate to doing things for myself today? And the past couple of days, it's been like, all right, none. I'm gonna play video games from sun up to sundown.
Someday soon I'll be able to be in that position, but oh my god, there are 6 guns pointed in my face. But we've turned a corner. We have turned a fucking corner.
I just had
Tech,
to
I'll be
take
talking to
two
you
days
after,
to not do a damn thing.
Yeah.
So
One
back
of
to
these
work
days.
for me.
Alright, so let me just pull up the donations real quick. We got our alert box here. Great. Where's that? Where's it show that shit? Analytics. There we go.
It was underneath the missile interface the whole time.
It was. It was.
Glenn is a huge fan of NFTs. He's all about the blockchain.
That's what we've learned.
That's what as far as I can tell.
I don't see the individual.
I can picture Glenn's fucking eyeballs just talking about 3D chickens for like a minute straight.
That 3D chicken shit, man, just like on the roadmap, like commission a script to be written. Like, dude, the fuck?
That took a year off the end of my life. Just having to hear about that and knowing it exists now.
Oh, here we go. Recent events. This has got to be it, right?
It makes me so sad.
All right. So, Glenn commented. First off, donated $4.20, which is great because you would have gotten the "Don't Do Drugs" mark, which is my favorite. So the show started with Blashy donating $5. Thanks, Blashy. Blashy is a wonderful person. I've had a chance to meet him in person at Eternally Chill. Longtime supporter of the DDS fan club, amongst others. Made a lathe cut of one of my HCMJ tracks on a 7-inch, and then sent it to me. It was like, "We love you, man." Just a total, just kind of person that makes you want to cry. So thank you for that $5.
Thank you.
Thank you, Blashy.
We salute you.
And then we also had a $4.20 here from Yeti.com, and I'm not reading ahead. I'm just going to read this out loud.
All right.
It says, all caps, fuck NFTs. It's a bullshit grift and fucks the environment, and we can compare it to all the climate depraved acts in the world, but like NFTs produce net zero nothing. No food, no jobs, etc. It's a grift economy. Fuck it, and fuck anyone who takes part. Well, there it is.
Oh.
So thank you for that.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
James.
I don't fully agree with that statement, but I understand it. I understand, and I respect your right to say that, and I'm glad that I said it. And then Riley, just to catch us up here, we all saw Riley donated $1. Said I like the show, which we also appreciate.
Just a little palate cleanser.
That was yes, 4 minutes ago. And that brings us.
Thank you very much.
When I hear about that, it's like that. I think you should leave skit about the tables. Like it's like the driving instructor just does. He's like, I can't hear about these tables. You know, like when the word pops up, it's just like my brain is just like, not today, and then it just turns off. And like I don't know how to care. I don't know how to hear about NFTs.
Well, okay, so folks, if you've just joined us, we've been talking NFTs. We've been getting to the root of issues that artists are facing in today's fast-paced, ever-changing, with Web3 looming. It's like we are all wrapped in blockchains, and they are...
They're gonna bury us in a crypt. Oh!
Oh, God.
And reported.
But, as we were doing all this research on this highly advanced hyper-technology missile system, we've also been doing our best to not launch the missiles, folks. That is our main directive here. The sorceress, she has missiles pointed at Balam Gardens, and it is our job. We're just messing around, hoping that we can stop it, but we do not want to launch them. So first, I think it's important. And let's see. I mean, let's look at some of these other options here. So we'll check out the equipment. All right, so we're going to check out the various equipment, and we can learn a little bit about what we're looking. So there's the missile launcher. We saw a bunch of those outside the complexes that we were breaking in.
Oh, it's a BAG 0003A.
Renoa has a really good idea here. She thinks that if we adjust the air ratio, I mean, there's a chance that maybe these missiles will miss then, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make sure people can hear this, because it is very loud. So let's just go ahead and adjust this.
We turned up the air ratio so there's a larger chance of missing.
Can everyone at home, can everyone hear this? I hope you're hearing this.
Easily my favorite part of any missile system is being able to increase the amount you could miss by.
Yeah, it is the kind of thing that, yes, they are very loud. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. All right, look, I have some information here. One second. Oh, Quiz, I'm sorry. On this stream, the donation's blocked again. We just got another donation, this time for $8 from friend of the show, Quiz. Quiz, thank you so much. I will say, though, Quiz's message, launch the missiles. Do you want our friends to die?
Wow.
You want our friends to die. All right.
We have one job.
Look, we have one job. The important thing is that we have now paged. We've got the air ratio up to a place in which I think we will probably be safe. I think at this point we can basically just relax. So let's head out of Sid's office, and just see.
It seems like